I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for December 8th, 2025. If you're able, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, will you please take roll?
Rachel Hulteen.
Present.
Dan Larson.
Here.
Kathleen Martell.
Present.
Scott Ohm.
Here.
Mike Okada.
Here.
Patrick Quinn.
Here.
Jenny Snell.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. In front of you, councilors, we have minutes from City Council meeting starting in August and going all the way till November 17th for both study sessions and for meetings. Do we have any changes to the minutes? Seeing none, we'll present those to the clerk. Thank you, and thank you to them for their hard work. Moving on to the agenda tonight. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I move to move agenda item number 1, motion to make an appointment to fill the District 3 City Council vacancy to before proclamations, awards, and ceremonies.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't hear the last part of it.
Absolutely. I move to move agenda item number 1, the motion to make an appointment to fill the District 3 City Council vacancy to before proclamations, awards, and ceremonies.
Do we have a second for that? We have a second for that. Do we have any questions or concerns? Councilor Hulteen.
Yeah, thank you. I would prefer we wait until after public's right to speak. I think we've got people who are here today to discuss that or
They'll
present
speak during the
during
item.
the agenda.
During
item.
the
Okay,
agenda,
all right.
yeah.
Then I am fine with that.
Okay. Do we have any other questions or concerns about that? Seeing none, we will go ahead and change the agenda order. So we will move to item number 1 now. Councilor Quinn, can you please present this item?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I'm sorry, I'm a little goofed up and a little late getting tuned up here. Motion to make appointment to fill District 3 City Council vacancy, term ending November 8th, 2027. Mr. Mayor, I move to...
Hold on 1 second. Go ahead and read the issue statement.
I'm in the wrong place, Mr. Mayor. Oh, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Apologies, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, while Councilmember Quinn is checking on that, was there a actual vote taken on the motion to amend the agenda?
Do we need to vote
I know
on
there
that,
was a
or-
motion and a second, was there not?
Do we need to vote on that, or can
Yeah,
we just...
if there was a motion and a second, you'll need to
We do.
vote on
Okay,
it.
sorry. Thank you. Rookie. So since we have a motion and a second, Ms. Clerk, will you please call the roll of the members?
This is on the motion to Councilmember Martell's motion to amend the agenda.
All right, go ahead and vote.
7 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Sorry
Thank
about that.
Yep.
All right. Back to the issue
All right.
statement.
Thank you, Councilor Snell, for getting me rounded up. Councilmember Stites was elected as mayor at the November 4th, 2025 election. Mr. Stites resigned from his District 3 City Council seat on November 10, 2025. Wheat Ridge Charter Section 4.5 states that within 30 days after a vacancy occurs on the council, the remaining council members shall choose by majority vote of a duly qualified person from the property District 3, from the property district to fill such vacancy. After advertising for the vacancy, 5 qualified applicants were received from interested candidates for the vacant seat, and interviews were conducted by City Council on December 1 study session.
Thank you. This is a motion before the council. This is not quasi-judicial. I will open the hearing on this. Mr. Goff, do we have a staff presentation?
Nothing beyond that issue statement. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing none, before we go to questions from council, we will go to questions from our public, which I believe we probably have a few people signed up for this. Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Okay. All right, we have a couple people signed up in chambers, so I will call you up and let you know who is also on deck. When I call you up, you'll have as much time as you like to address the council. Please come up to the podium. First up, we have Tracy Bogus. Thank you. Please spell your last name. Let us know whether you live or work in Wheat Ridge, and then you may address the issue. And
Hello.
Justin Slocum is on deck.
My name is Tracy Bogus. My name is Tracy Bogus, spelling Boggus, and I am a registered voter and a resident of Wheat Ridge. And I'm just here tonight to support Justin Slocum. He was the only applicant that ran for the city council in District 3, and he received 42% of the votes over 1,300. And I'm just asking you to appoint Justin to the city council seat for District 3 and honor the voice of the voters. We want to be heard, respected, and represented. And I'm just concerned how we can move forward as a community and come together and progress forward if our voices aren't heard. So I would just appreciate it if you would appoint him to this seat. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Justin Slocum with Margaret Nelson on deck.
Good evening, Mayor Stites and members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Justin Slocum. I'm here tonight regarding the appointment to the District 3 vacancy. First, I want to acknowledge the vacancy process outlined in the city charter. This procedure is not something created by an individual on this dais. It is the method chosen by the voters of Wheat Ridge, and I appreciate the transparent way you guys are carrying it out. I also want to thank every applicant who put their name forward. Anyone willing to serve this community deserves respect. District 3 just completed a full municipal election. Only 2 people stepped forward to run, Patrick Quinn and myself. Patrick earned the support of the voters, and I congratulate him again. When Corey Stites transitioned from representing District 3 into the role of mayor, that move created the vacancy we are discussing tonight. That leaves me as the only individual who actually ran for this specific seat when it was before the voters. No other applicant chose to run when District 3 had the chance to select the representative, but I did. Let me be clear, I'm not here tonight claiming entitlement to this appointment. That's not what I'm here for. The charter places this responsibility entirely on the council, and I do respect that. However, I believe the most democratic, stabilizing, and transparent choice is to honor the intent of District 3 voters. I am the only remaining candidate who entered the election engaged residents, debated issues, filed campaign reports, knocked on doors, and earned votes. Over the last several days, I know that many of you have received calls, texts, and emails from District 3 residents and other district residents as well on my behalf. They have expressed they want their representative to be someone who generally stepped forward when the seat was open and someone they already know and trust from the campaign. Throughout the campaign, I made commitments to the people of District 3 to listen, to communicate openly, to bring practical solutions forward, and to represent their concerns with integrity. I remain fully committed to those promises, and I am genuinely excited to get to work. My residents have told me they want me to be their voice in this council, and I take that responsibility very seriously. By appointing someone who has already earned confidence of the voters and demonstrated readiness to serve, council would provide continuity and immediate preparedness, reflect the expectation that representation is earned through engagement, and avoid any perception of improvised or disconnected selection, reinforce trust in both the charter and this council's commitment to fairness, If appointed, I would bring the same energy and respect I demonstrated throughout my campaign: open-minded discussion, constructive disagreement, and a genuine desire to help the residents of Wheat Ridge moving forward. I've already shown by running for the seat that I am prepared to serve District 3 on day one and to honor the commitments I made. For this reason, I respectfully urge Council to appoint the only candidate who ran for the seat when District 3 voters were asked to choose the representative. Thank you for your time, your service, and your consideration. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Up next, we have Margaret Nelson with Eeyore Figlis on deck.
Hi, I'm Margaret Nelson, Nelson. I am a resident of Wheat Ridge in District 3. Congratulations, Mr. Stites, on mayorship. I just want to echo what's been said. Seems to me the only logical and really fair option is to award that seat to the runner-up in that election. There are only two people running. Mr. Slocum ran and garnered support and garnered votes, and I think it would be patently unfair, frankly, to just appoint someone else out of the blue who didn't bother to run, didn't make that effort, didn't go out and meet people and get support that way. So anyway, I just wanted to lend my support to Justin Slocum for that choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Eeyore Figlis up, and then we will have Janice Hoppy online on deck.
Good evening, fellow citizens. We have a unique situation here. Normally, this process is used to appoint someone whose seat has been vacated by accident. Patrick Fitzgerald passed away while he was in office. Somebody had to be appointed to fill his seat, and so forth. However, we have a situation here where, unfortunately, the person who vacated the seat ran for another office and did not bother to resign from the seat and give the voters an opportunity to fill that seat through their votes. I am here to strongly urge you to appoint Justin Slocum to fill the vacant District 3 seat. He's the only person who stepped forward and put his name out there and made the effort to run for election. I know some of the other applicants, and I appreciate them. I think that they are, great people. But frankly, when they talked to City Council a week ago, they spoke about their qualifications. They did not speak, not a single one of them in their presentation spoke about representing their constituents. They talked about applying for city jobs, whether it be business development director or city manager or somebody in local works and so forth. But frankly, the only person that's gone out there and stuck his neck out there and gone out and talked to the people is Justin Slocum. And to not appoint him or not even consider him for this election is a slap in the face of the democratic process. Okay, you have a unique opportunity here, and you have to consider that. We are democracy, okay? And everybody, especially his opponent, should be aware of that. Justin Slocum is the person who actually ran, who actually went out and talked to people, and who actually wanted to be part of this council. And you should really consider that as a primary objective, not as a job application, but as a representative of the people. And I encourage the rest of the other applicants who applied for this position to come up and withdraw their application in favor of the person who actually ran for the office, and then go ahead and stand for election in the next election process. I encourage you to do that, because that is how our democracy is supposed to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else on our list, Janice Hoppy is, I believe, on Zoom.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Janice Hoppy, Hoppe, live, work, and play in District 1, Wheat Ridge. Just like to say thank you to Mayor and Council for this opportunity to speak on this topic. Unfortunately, I can't be in person, but I appreciate the opportunity to do it online. I'm here tonight not to talk about any of the individual people that have applied for District 3 open seat, but to talk about the process and how the process came about in 2015. The exact same scenario as we have here today, we had in 2015. A seated council member in District 1 who is running for city treasurer, and then we had an open seat where two people were running for, Monica Duran and Bud Starker. Monica won that election and was sworn into the position at the same time Jerry DiTullio was sworn into the election for city treasurer, which left Jerry DiTullio's seat for District 1 open. At the time, council discussed whether they would just appoint Bud, who had also run for election in District 1, or if there should be a different process. After much discussion at the council meeting, they came to the consensus to open the seat for others in District 1 to apply. Bud, myself, and a young man from Parks and Rec applied for the open position. What was different this time was that we only had 3 minutes during public right to speak at 2 business meetings to present our cases on why we'd be a good counselor. And at the second one, I was appointed into that seat for District 1. Once we had a full council in and a couple of months went by, we decided to bring back to the table and choose an actual process how to carry out the charge of the charter on how this should happen going forward, should it happen again. The process that was chosen was that the seat would be open for people to apply. For those who apply would come and present at a study session, and then at the business meeting, a motion would be made to appoint someone to that seat. This has happened several times since 2015. A few examples: Monica Duran went to the state, city treasurer went to the county, and Amanda Weaver was appointed to District 3, just to name a few. This is not a unique situation. This exact situation is exactly what started this process. We should continue and not abandon this process in this situation. I appreciate council's dedication to sticking with the process, and I always say, when in doubt, lean on the processes that have been laid in front of you. Thank you for everybody's time and effort who has applied for this position, and I appreciate it's a difficult decision to make, but I trust you'll do the best for Wheat Ridge as a city as a whole.
All right, thank you. We have no more commenters online, so we will go to questions from council. No, we had a list, sorry. Do we have questions from council? I have one question, Mr. Dahl. It's been kind of insinuated a couple times by a couple commenters over the last couple weeks that I could have resigned back in August or whenever I knew I was unopposed, which, remember, I did have an opponent until the deadline. If I had resigned back in August, what would have happened?
Well, the charter says when there's a vacancy, that vacancy in the council, that vacancy is appointed by the council within 30 days of the creation of the vacancy. There's not a triggering of an election. It's always the council has to appoint within 30 days of the date the vacancy occurs. So had you resigned earlier, the 30-day clock would have started, but the council within that 30 days would have had to appoint to fill that vacancy.
Okay, so it doesn't matter the timeline. This process would have.
The process would have been the same.
Okay.
Council appoints. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just want to make sure that the public is clear on how that works. Any other questions from council? Seeing none, Mr. Quinn, Councilor Quinn, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I move to appoint Susan Wood to District 3 Council seat, term to expire November 8, 2027.
Do we have a second on that motion?
I second.
We have a second by Councilor Okada. Do we have discussion on the motion?
Yes,
Councilor Quinn.
Mr. Mayor. Excuse me, as the maker of the motion, I wrote a few things on here. First and foremost, thank you to everybody who applied. This was not an easy decision. I don't think I got much sleep this weekend, waking up at night, wondering what to do here. Every applicant brought unique strengths and perspectives, and that speaks volumes about the talent and commitment in our community. Choosing just one person was incredibly challenging. When faced with this decision, I leaned on what guided me for over 20 years in my labor union: experience, fairness, and the principle of growth through hard work. In the union, I sat on our executive board and was president, and I've appointed people into leadership roles before, and I can tell you that this decision was as tough, if not tougher, than appointing a business manager and a few other positions I had the pleasure to work through. This was not an election like the one we held last month. This is an appointment by the council, and the process is much like a job interview, and it requires judgment, accountability, and a vision for leadership that serves the public. And here's a vision I believe in. You start at the ground level, and you work, you learn, you grow, and you'll earn our trust to lead. In my union, that meant starting as a laborer, moving into an apprenticeship, becoming a journeyman, advancing to foreman or even a general foreman. And that principle and successorship builds strong leaders, it builds trust, and it builds the communities that thrive. That is why I nominated Susan Wood. She has walked that path, she has paid her dues, and understands what it means to work hard and serves others and leads with integrity. Susan has also served on the Planning Commission, just as many commissioners before her have done, and that experience is, in my opinion, often the gateway to serve on the council. She knows the issues, the processes, and the responsibility that comes with public service. I wish we had more positions to fill because so many qualified individuals deserve the opportunity. But today, we only have one. And I believe this choice honors our values and strengthens our futures. And I truly appreciate everyone's comments. The conversations I've had with Odarka and a few others, really appreciate it. And thank you, and that's where I'm at. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments, or Councilor Holteen?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the nomination. I couldn't agree more. This was an extraordinary pool of people that just represent like the diversity of engagement and involvement that different residents have. And my microphone's on. Can you not hear me? Is this better? Okay. Sorry, the mic. Okay, I will start over again. As Councilor Quinn said, we had an incredible pool of applicants. We were reminded through their applications and through the study session that there are a variety of ways to be involved in our community, a variety of perspectives that counselors bring, and different perspectives you bring when you're involved in our community in a variety of different ways. I too gave a lot of thought. I actually reread all the applications again this weekend, and this is not an election, it's appointment. It is an opportunity that we give per the charter and per the process that Ms. Hoppy described for us to pick who fills that vacant seat and who complements the work that we're doing here. And because of that, one of the things I took a look at is what are some things that are not represented up here. We've heard from Mr. Slocum and some of his supporters, asking that, he would represent a perspective that's not necessarily seated on this council. A perspective that I have noticed is not up here for our voting council is we don't have any counselors that have young families at home. We are generally, I'm an empty nester. I think Scott has one child still at home. And we care a lot about families in our community. And for that reason, I would like to put forward a substitute motion nominating Simon for the position of the District 3 vacancy for consideration. I think Simon brings a couple of other perspectives around some of the fiscal policy he mentioned and some of his networking that he has through his role in the business community. Would be valuable contributions both to District 3 representation, but also to our perspectives up here in council. So I am putting forward a substitute motion for Simon, and if I have a second, we can discuss.
We have a second by Councilor Ohm. So we will go to Mr. Dahl. Would you like to explain to the audience what we're doing here, and then we'll get back to it?
Sure. Substitute motions come up rarely in front of the council, and so it's probably well for us to know exactly how those work. When there's a substitute motion, the maker of that motion is asking to substitute their motion for the main motion. In this particular case, Councilmember Quinn made the main motion. That got seconded, but then there is an opportunity for amendments or to motions, and in this case, substitute motions. So Councilmember Hulteen's substitute motion then gets voted on. If it fails, you go back to the main motion, which is Councilmember Quinn's motion. If Councilmember Hulteen's motion passes, you're not done, because all that has happened is that the passage of that motion has substituted a name for the name on the main motion. And then you vote then on the main motion as substituted with a different name. So in the event Councilmember Hulteen's motion passes, then you're still not done. There's a second vote. If it fails, you're back to the main motion. And unless there are other substitutes to that main motion, you vote on the main motion.
Thank you, Mr. Dahl.
Yep.
So we will go to discussion on Councilor Hulteen's substitute motion for Simon McGowan. Councilor Ohm.
Thank you, Mayor. As Councilmember Quinn has done a great job of explaining, this has been a tough decision. I've kind of looked at, both Susan Wood and Simon, both as really good candidates. I looked at all the candidates and I kind of thought through, like, what is everybody's strength? And what have they done for the community? What have they served on? This is not an easy decision. And, I can say that, thinking about that conversation too, about like, yes, the family is something to consider. And I looked at, who has a lot of experience. And I know that, Susan definitely has a lot of experience in planning, a really great fit. She's on the planning commission, and just trying to think about, like, what does District 3 want, and what does, a good fit to work with, Councilmember Quinn. But I do want to say something that, of the 5 candidates, the one thing I think of, and yes, I ran for re-election, I did have an opponent, is that let's just think about this as the Super Bowl. I think, so I can kind of make this simple, is that, all the teams go and eventually there's 2 left. They're in the Super Bowl and they both were, great candidates, both played hard. And at the end, there's one that wins. And how would that team feel after they went, they won, they spent all that time, and being congratulated. And then the powers that be decided, like, you know what, we're going to have 2 NFL champions. What does that do to the one that won? If you want to think about, like, does that make the candidate, the Super Bowl winner, does that make them feel, maybe minimized? That, that they, and that's what I'm trying to think of is, I'm trying to put myself in everybody's shoes of how do they feel? And I can say that we had 5 candidates, and the 2 that I felt the strongest were definitely, without a question, Susan and Simon. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Snell.
Thank you, Mayor. And I just wanted to take a moment to recognize all of our applicants. This was an incredibly difficult decision that I know that everyone on this dais took very seriously. I do want to just point out, in relation to what Councilmember Hulteen mentioned, Mr. McGowan brings a very unique position in that he is super involved with his kids' schools, and he is a parent to children who are in school in Wheat Ridge. And I feel like it's something that we as council are responsible for, making sure that we have a bit of a finger on the pulse of that, as well as all of the other issues that happen in our community. And so I do see that as an advantage and a strength that would bring another good facet to our team here on council. I'm also in awe of the experience that all of our candidates have, but especially Ms. Wood, in specifically the depth of knowledge and experience that she has with planning. And I feel like we are lucky to have her on our planning commission. And with Mr. Quinn having left, Councilor Quinn having left, and then if also Ms. Wood left, our planning commission, I feel like would be a little bit devoid of that knowledge. Not speaking ill of anyone else on planning commission, they have it on lock for sure. But incredibly difficult decision, but I did want to just call out those two strengths of those candidates. So, thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Larson.
And thank you, Mayor. And I have to agree with the other members of the council that this group of 5 applicants were all tremendously qualified, tremendously experienced. Everybody that applied brings some unique talents and viewpoints to the discussion. I do have to go back, though, and read the quote from the charter, is that council members shall choose by a majority vote of a duly qualified person from the proper district to fill such vacancy. And I'm going to make a decision tonight based on the applicants' interviews, their applications that they filed with some with resumes, and only that. And because that to me is how you apply for a position. And that is basically how I will make my decision based on the materials and the discussion we had with all 5 of the applicants. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Martell.
Thank you, Mayor. So I would like to concur with many of the things that have already been said tonight. I would like to thank all 5 of the candidates who applied tonight. And I also want to thank all of the community members who reached out on behalf of all of those applicants. I received phone calls, texts, emails, and we had people speak last week at the study session and tonight. And I really am excited and impressed by the number of people who spoke out on behalf of all 5 of these applicants. And I think that is indicative of our community. I do want to say that as I researched and reread all of the applications and thought about these 5 candidates coming into this role and also being new to this role on City Council, I really tried to look at, similar to what my peers have said, what that next person coming in will add to the conversation, who they will represent, what skills they're bringing. And I too landed on with Mr. McGowan, his family being young and in Wheat Ridge, and with the legacy of Wheat Ridge experience that they have, and his history of partnering with the schools was very impressive, and I think something that we do really need to, as Jenny said, or as Councilor Snell said, have our finger on that pulse. And I do think that both Mr. McGowan and Ms. Wood have just impeccable qualifications for this role. Where I landed, or the thing that stood out the most to me with Ms. Wood, was that her planning experience coming in at a time with 2 years left in this term, at a time when as a city we are implementing so many plans. I really think that skill set is something that would complement our council at this time. And that is something that stood out as very important and impressive for me in reviewing these candidates.
Thank you. Counselor Okada.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have kind of an effective vote before us with basically 2 of the 5 candidates as it stands right now. That can change, but I want to point out that that with the first motion to make a substitute motion, I will be voting yes on the substitute in the motion there. But considering that the effective vote before us after that is a consideration on whether or not we would be considering Simon to be a better candidate than Susan. That consideration on that point for me is the reason why I would be voting against Simon. But I do believe in our ability to be able to make valid conversations about the different candidates that we have here. So I want to explain my vote and the trajectory that I'm planning to do here. I am going to vote yes on the substitute motion, but the substitute motion itself, I will be voting no.
Okay. Any other comments before we vote? All right, so we are voting on the substitute motion to substitute Simon McGowan for Susan Wood. Will the clerk please poll the council? Okay. So that means the substitute motion fails. So we will continue on with Susan Wood as our candidate. So we will go back to our original motion and go back to discussion on Susan Wood. Councilor Holteen.
Thank you. So I appreciate the opportunity to discuss Simon as a candidate, and I am enthusiastic to put my support behind Susan. With Simon not passing that vote. I knew Susan before she joined Planning Commission. She is extraordinarily knowledgeable and talented and cares deeply about our city, and as of right this minute, has incredible insight to the things that we're working on, how our staff works, how our council works. She would be able to step up day one and would be a very, day one, minute one, it could be minutes from now, to actually step up and be an active and engaged part of this council. So I'm appreciated that we have an opportunity to talk about more than one candidate, given that we had a pool of 5 candidates and a lot of consideration for us to have. So I appreciate to my colleagues the opportunity to have the discussion and hear more about the different perspectives. And there was no easy answer here. So I just want to endorse Susan. I want to speak to, the passion and knowledge that she brought before she was on Planning Commission. And since she's been on Planning Commission, her voice and insight has really actually advanced our whole city from that position. So I will be supporting an enthusiastic yes for Susan when the vote comes. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Oh, Councilor Quinn.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody again for everything that they've done, putting forth the applicants. And I will take into consideration everybody's concerns when they call, when they text me. I mean, I know it's looking, there's going to be a few people that's going to leave here tonight disappointed, but I will do my very best to represent and take your affairs to heart. And I know Susan will as well. I think we're gaining and not losing. We were going to have 2 open positions on the, well, we potentially still haven't voted yet. We have my position open on the Planning Commission, potentially 2. I encourage everyone that applied to please apply for that one and get that experience.
Thank you. Councilor Ohm.
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to say that I'm looking for Susan right now, but okay. She has so much qualifications. I'm really honored, that she applied, and the thought of having an AICP certified, that's a fellow, I'm very humbled by that. I think we're really lucky to have someone with her qualifications apply for this position, and excited. So thank you to everybody that applied. There was a lot. I expected just a couple and a half, 5 candidates apply for that position. I was really happy about that many people turned out to apply for it. And so, but I'm really hopeful for Susan coming in tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Snell.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'll also echo a few of my co-counselors on this. I am super impressed and in awe of Susan's experience. I'll be honored to serve with her. But I do also want to just acknowledge again the depth of knowledge and experience and community involvement and caring that everyone brought to their applications and to this process. And I'm grateful for that. I thank everyone and do encourage, as Councilor Quinn said, we will have openings on our Planning Commission. So please continue to be involved. Thank you.
Any other comments before we vote? I will again echo what council said. Thank you to everybody who applied, and hopefully this has been a fair process for everybody. So without further ado, will the clerk please poll the council? All right. We will pass our congratulations on to Susan Wood, and we will move on to our next item, which is the swearing in of Susan Wood. So if we can invite Susan Wood to come up to the podium with Judge Lucero.
Would you kindly raise your right hand, repeat after me? I, Susan Wood,
I, Susan Wood,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support the Constitution
or affirm that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and of the state of Colorado
and of the state of Colorado
and the charter and ordinances of the city,
and the charter and ordinances of the city,
and will strive to be responsive to all citizens of the city,
and will strive to be responsive to all citizens of the city,
and will faithfully perform the duties of the office of council member,
and will faithfully perform the duties of the office of council member,
which I am about to enter.
which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
If I could have Marianne Schilling and Tad Overstreet join us up here. The Mayor and City Council of the City of Wheat Ridge would like to formally recognize and appreciate the participants of the 2025 Wheat Ridge 102 program, who all dedicated an immense portion of their time this fall creating two programs for the City of Wheat Ridge to address community needs. Wheat Ridge 102 is a program in partnership with Local Works that grew out of Wheat Ridge 101, an interactive program designed to educate the community about how the City of Wheat Ridge works. The Wheat Ridge 102 program builds upon the skills learned in Wheat Ridge 101 and allows participants to go through the process of facilitating and a needed change in the community. This year, the two projects included the implementation of a youth engagement program and a neighborhood program. Both groups worked hard completing research, writing a project blueprint, and presenting their recommendations to City Council last week. They were guided by subject matter experts and mentors who supported participants along the way. We are so grateful to everyone who volunteered to spend their limited free time to invest in the future of Wheat Ridge. The participants who successfully completed the 2025 Wheat Ridge 102 program, and when I call your name, please come on up here and receive your certificate, and then go ahead and stay up here, and that way we can recognize everybody. Emily Cohen. Go ahead, give her a round of applause. Katie Duncan. Alex Goldsmith. Roger Jones. Renee Schreiner. Andy Sulak. And Brianna Zafian. Did you get it? This job's not as easy as it looks. Yes, let's go in front of the council here. That way we can get everybody involved. Council, go ahead and stand up. And you guys, Another big congratulations to all of our 102 graduates. If I could have Chief Murtha join me up here, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. And before I get started, congratulations to all the new members of our City Council. Every twice a year, I get to introduce the new members of the Wheat Ridge Police Department. Tonight, I am excited to introduce two people who have dedicated themselves, demonstrated commitment above and beyond the other hundreds of applications we received, and passed the academy last Friday to become, from recruits, to become police officers. As they begin their journey in the Wheat Ridge Police Department, we're very proud of what they've accomplished so far, and we know that, I know that what they will continue to accomplish will continue to amaze us as a, so you okay, Patrick? I almost lost you. As a side note, personally, when I meet these folks, these young men and women that are hired onto the police department, it gives me a lot of hope, and I hope it gives hope to you that yes, the next generation is filled with talented people, people who can do jobs above and beyond what you expect. So tonight, the real stars tonight are going to introduce themselves to you. Samuel Marsh and Alejandro Montez, our two newest police recruits, and I'm happy to say that we already have a ton of talent in the next class after that. So I'm very excited to introduce them when their time comes. But tonight it's for Sam and Alejandro. Who's going first?
Awesome. So, gotta give me a little break. This is kind of out of my comfort zone, but I'm gonna try to do my best I can. So my name's Samuel Marsh. I'm originally from Casper, Wyoming. I grew up in a small town. It's not so small anymore. But growing up, I was always played outside. Was a pretty busy kid. Got into a little trouble when I was young, just like running around in the neighborhoods and such like that. But anyways, just want to let you know a little bit about my life experience. You know, graduated in Wyoming, graduated college in Wyoming with a fire science degree, funny enough. But I realized that I didn't really want to spend the next 20 years in my hometown, so I decided to, you know, expand my horizon, experience life a little bit, live in a couple different states, which led me on many different adventures, which ultimately led me here into this beautiful state of Colorado. And then I kind of found my why of what I wanted to be. Initially, I wanted to be a first responder. I didn't know if I wanted to be a firefighter or if I wanted to be a police officer. So I did a couple ride-alongs with, you know, both, and ultimately I found that being a police officer was going to be my life purpose. And so I just wanted to thank the department for giving me the chance, you know, to show what skills and abilities that I have, not only for them, but for the city as well. And then I just want to recap, you know, my experience of the academy. The academy was an experience of a lifetime. It was hard, it was brutal, mentally and physically, but it showed me what I was capable of. It also reinstated my love for this department and for the city. For example, Wheat Ridge is small, but it's also very mighty. One of my favorite things to do during the academy was to read the watch updates each supervisor would send out each night. And in these emails, it would state small details about the kinds of calls that police officers would go and respond to. And some of these calls were small, and others were very complex with many moving parts. But all in all, when I reflect upon these emails, it would remind me of what Wheat Ridge Police and the city would do for the community members. For example, the relationship-based policing that the police officers go out and do every day to create relationships with everyone out there who lives in this beautiful city, and not only the people that live here, but the people that come through here as well. And then I just want to shed light on what great work that the council members and the city does for all the communities that live here, all the renovations, all the buildings, just to create a great environment for the people that live in the city. And then lastly, I just want to say that this department is more involved with the community than any other department I have interacted with thus far. Officers go out every day to make a positive experience for the people that live in the city. Do their jobs with strong ethics, morals, and safety practices. Furthermore, it's not every day you meet a department that is more involved with its officers' lives and actually caring for their officers' families and well-beings, as well as city and the council. Every interaction I have with anyone in this building has been very enjoyable, giving me confidence that I made the right choice. Moving forward, I promise to do my job with honor, integrity, respect, and dedication, living the oath that I vowed to commit to. Thank you all for this opportunity, and I will strive to make the city proud of its decision to choose me as one of its officers.
Well, let me follow that up. All right. So my name is Alejandro Montes. I'm from Greeley, Colorado. I'm born here and raised. So ever since I was a child, I've always been reserved. I've always been in a little, bubble. I've always been somebody that was able to be trusted, was able to make friends, and as an individual that had immigrants from another country come to this beautiful state, I've always had an issue trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. I worked hard. I worked in different industries. I tried studying to see what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until I had some hard moments in life that I really realized that I love helping people. I love being there for people, and I love striving to work hard on myself. It's not always one day where somebody gets the opportunity to better themselves and get a chance to really improve in their life. That is my motto these days, and I'm just extremely proud and thankful for this city to give me the chance to be here, to give me the chance to go to this amazing academy, and the chance to just do as best as I can. I strive for perfection and to be a better person every single day. This town has given me so many good experiences, and the people here just love their town. I'm from Greeley, so Greeley is also a little tight-knit community, but the transition here to Wheat Ridge has been amazing. This place has such its own unique identity. It's close to Denver, but not far away. We're close to the mountains, but not too far. We have so much history here, and I'm just proud to be here. Yeah. Bye.
Join us in front of the council. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program. We have our public's right to speak. Citizens may speak for 3 minutes on items not on the agenda. When I call your name, please come up to the podium. The city clerk has lights up in front here. When the light is green, you may speak freely. When it gets to the yellow light, you have about 30 seconds to start wrapping up. And when it turns red, please wrap up your comments, and we'll move to the next person. First up tonight, we have Margaret Nelson, followed by Mike and Gretchen Jostin.
Margaret Nelson again, citizen of Wheat Ridge. I just wanted to plead with you. The intersection at 38th and Kipling, I would hope, is notorious for being very dangerous. I mean, there are accidents after accidents after accidents. There seems to be no real reason for it. There's no lack of visibility. The lights function just fine, but it's a very dangerous place. And so I'm pleading with y'all to at least put red light cameras, or if nothing else there, in all four directions because people just are lawless. They're lawless. They see no reason why should I have to stop there. I've got my speed up. I'm not going to stop. And, you know, I'm just tired of having to, you know, wait and dodge red light runners, you know. And also, if council wants to raise some money, anytime there's a backup along Kipling to the south, which is pretty frequent, you know, people turn at 35th and then zoom down Johnson Street and, you know, to try to get ahead of everybody. And so, you know, just putting a little speed trap there every now and then would help put an end to that, I would think, and maybe bring in some money to help pay for all the cops who have to attend to all of these accidents at the intersection. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. We have Mike and Gretchen Jostin, followed by Jan Fancinelli.
Hello. Congratulations, Susan. It was really nice to get to see your process of how you do things. It was really cool. My name is Gretchen Jostin. I live at 4360 Gray Street. This is my husband. We're here just to bring up our favorite topic of auto wash at Lakeside. We are grateful for the work of the City Council members from 2020 with the Council Bill numbered 17 that brought forth a hybrid approach of both qualitative and quantitative measures to amend Section 16-103 of the Wheat Ridge City Code to better address the manner in which noise is measured and unreasonable noise is prohibited and enforced. We're grateful for the city's allowance of a sound study in January, followed by a study session by the City Council. We're thankful for your time with that. We thank you for that step forward in this long journey. We know this sound study will reveal the truth of the quantitative measurements of the dryer impact and noise pollution within our community. However, within 2020 Council Bill 17, there were both qualitative and quantitative measures placed within the code. We have presented since March the ways in which auto wash is in violation of the qualitative measures placed within the code. Yet those have continued to go without repercussions since their secret reopening on October 31st. Our neighborhood has been as patient as we can, but when the scales seem to be unfairly weighted against us in both time and impact, we must stand for the law and what Wheat Ridge City Council fought to implement so diligently in 2020. If we're not implementing these codes upon this corporation that has been in violation since opening in February, what kind of example are we setting for the community in our capacity to implement the laws that stand up for the rights and boundaries of our citizens? We, as the longstanding neighbors and residents of this community, have given and been patient throughout the year of Auto Wash's non-compliant operations. They have displayed time and again their MO for operating. We'll do whatever we want until we're told we have to change. They came in operating at full service 24 hours a day with both bay doors open, no sound barrier built as instructed in their planning documents, removing their do not enter signs on the Gray Street exit, conducting deceptive sound studies, and opening without informing the city or gaining approval to reopen. We are grateful they finally closed the bay doors in November. Thank you for that. But even operating in this manner, they are non-compliant, and we ask for this situation to quickly come to a close. We ask that Auto Wash be cited with 2 citations of non-compliance of Section 16-103 of the Wheat Ridge City Code, Section 1, unreasonable noise, disturbing the peace, and subsection B, Section 1 and 3, unlawful noise, residential and commercial properties. We find the only solution to be operational restriction, as they cannot come into compliance with their current dryer functionality. Please consider this path, as they are still able to operate with their basic package offerings without dryers. The owner, Dennis, has informed me that as I witnessed him removing the do not enter signs, they're planning to possibly get different dryers in the spring, and we can't wait that long. It's not our responsibility to endure the impact of a non-compliant business. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Up next, we have Jan Fancinelli and Chris Neitzold on deck.
Good evening and congratulations to the new council members and mayor. I am Janice Fasinelli. I have a small consulting veterinary practice at 4355 Gray Street. And even with the changes that have happened so far, I must tell you that during every examination of an animal coming in, my clients and the animals and myself are disturbed by the sounds coming through the windows. So I run out to the fence with my decibel reader, and it might be at 65, 66, which I think for me is, let's see, restricted commercial is still at 70. So if I measure it inside the house, yes, it's in compliance. But can you imagine every 5 minutes the sound of a roar coming through your window? And you've had a very peaceful place to work for almost 30 years now. So to me, it seems like a simple solution was just not do the dryers. The dryers are the problem. So my second issue, I'm confused by, since we've started working with everyone for the last 6 months, we were told that they have a special use permit, and don't worry, if they don't come in compliance, we won't renew the special use permit because they have to renew it every year. But we were just told this last month that they have a permanent special use permit. It doesn't have to be renewed. So it seems to me the only option is they have to be in compliance, and they are not. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Neitzold.
Councilmen, women, Mayor. I challenge anyone on this panel to come out to our properties and stand there. Just stand there outside. I'll happily invite you inside my property with the door closed, the windows closed, and you can sit there and listen to the noise that permeates my home. It's not in your backyard, but it's in ours. You won't be able to truly appreciate the wonderful sound that you continue to allow to permeate the neighborhood in my home. So, in an effort to help you, better appreciate that, I'd like to thank you for your time. I hope you guys will come together and make some decisions to alleviate this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. We have nobody else signed to speak. Clerk, do we have anybody signed up online? No. Okay, thank you. We will go to agenda item number 2. Oh, yes. Go ahead. Yep.
Could I ask a question, Steph?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Dahl, could you tell me, it looked like there were some submitted decibel ratings that allege noncompliance. Could you tell me where those came from, if those are in noncompliance, and if they are in noncompliance, have they been issued? Has the notice of violation been issued?
No, we haven't issued to my knowledge, a present notice of violation. The city, I know the Community Development Department is looking to locate independent sound engineers to conduct some additional testing on behalf of the city at locations that have been tested before and possibly others in order to get a real baseline of information around the operation of the auto wash now post the installation of that sound fence and some other actions that the company has taken. And the intention of the city is to get that kind of comprehensive data, or at least more data, rather than some individual readings here or there. We'd like to have a little better picture to be able to determine if there's a need for additional actions there, if those actions are corrective on the property, or if they're actions we need to take in municipal court. But based on a single reading, I'm not going to recommend that there be a summons. Instead, we really need to have some kind of disciplined fact basis for the post by post. I mean, after construction of that sound wall, status of the operation, and the Community Development Department is working to get the right consultant to develop that information now.
Thank you.
Councilor Hulteen.
Thank you for coming out and checking in with us on this and reiterating your positions. Lauren, I seem to recall at some point that the operator volunteered to reduce the operation hours to be between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
And was I hearing from our residents tonight that they aren't complying with that? So is there any enforcement we can do around their voluntary hours that they've offered?
Yep, I have asked the police department to help us with patrols, so they're modifying their routes to be over in that area during those hours that they're not supposed to be open.
Okay, and how would the police department respond if they are operating? Just to report back to us that they're operating, or, I mean, because, I mean, one of the significant issues that we have here is that this is a business that's operating without any business operators on site. And so if there is a compliance issue, all we're doing is, I mean, I don't know how we would be enforcing that.
I don't either yet.
Okay.
This is new territory, I think, for all of us. Certainly with that information, we would put our heads together with Mr. Dahl and the police department and figure out what our next steps would be. So if that ever occurs, would encourage a call to the non-emergency number so we can get some city eyes on that quickly.
Hi, I'm going to jump in here if that's okay, but
Thank you.
from the police perspective, generally, we would, if we were going to do an enforcement action, in the moment, it would be based on the decibel readings. Business licenses, generally, we report those out to our code enforcement folks who would look into that. Obviously, while the situation is disturbing, we would probably proceed at a little slower pace to bring that back and make sure that if we were going to do something around the business license, we worked in tandem with Lauren and her team, and as well as our code compliance officers. So it really, our enforcement is not so much on whether they're open during hours or not. That's not a police function.
Okay.
The function would really be through the licensing part of it, and that's where the leverage would be.
Okay. I mean, are we in a position to reach out to the operators and ask them to confirm that their intention is to keep to those hours? And ask how they're doing, like what they're doing to enforce it? I just am wondering if there's any pressure we can put on around at least the hour enforcement that they volunteered themselves.
Yes, we can certainly add that to our messaging. I am in touch with them every week, every other week to just confirm what changes they've made. The shutting of the doors, for example, I'm asking them if that's a new protocol, if that's a consistent protocol. That's not something that they had communicated to us, but certainly something that we've all collectively observed in the last couple of weeks. So I can include that in my next message to them as well in terms of confirming hours of operation. The last message that they gave to us in that regard was that they had modified the software. It was previously a manual function to disable operations after 10. They'd indicated that the software was now, you wouldn't be able to process payment after 10. So I'd like to follow up on that as well.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilor Quinn.
I just want you all to know, before election, I was out there. It was kind of a cold, icky day, so there wasn't a whole lot of action going on, but I get it.
Thank you. All right, moving on to agenda item number 2. Before we do that, Mr. Dahl, do you have something to interject?
Yes, if I might, you have a number of new council members, and there's, of course, Councilmember Wood is brand new tonight, and I wanted to give you and Councilmember Wood some assurance on these, sort of what she's able to do on those agenda items. And the short answer, and there's a longer one, the short answer is not only is she able to vote on these matters, but is required to. The charter is really clear. It says if you're sitting up there, you are required to vote unless there is a conflict of interest. It's not going to be true for any of the remaining items on the agenda. Or if it's a quasi-judicial matter where she hasn't been prepared or hasn't seen the materials. That isn't true either tonight. These are generally administrative matters, approving resolutions and some other things. And the charter is really clear that council members must vote. I know that it is likely of concern to her that, well, she just got the packet. I just gave her my copy, and she hasn't seen those materials. And nevertheless, the charter says you must vote. But my assurance to her and to you is that, of course, there's a staff report that is given orally. There are shorter staff materials, a short staff memo, which those of you that haven't gotten around to reading everything will be reading at your desks or at your places. I know that happens. That happens in all elected bodies, and it's not expected that you have read every page every single time. You rely to some extent on staff. You rely on comments that you're hearing from the other council members as it's being discussed. And by the time it finally does get to a motion, I assure you that, and I assure Councilmember Wood, that you're in a position to be able to vote reasonably in a reasonably informed way. There is not a door number 3, which is recusal and stepping down from an item because you feel less prepared. That isn't true under our charter. You must vote unless, as I said earlier, you have a conflict of interest or it's a quasi-judicial zoning matter that you haven't prepared on. So that's all in aid of saying not only should she vote, but she must, and as you all must, and you do your best to be as informed as possible. I'm certain, especially with the agenda tonight, that these are matters that it's kind of a quick study, and Councilmember Wood, you'll be able to form an opinion and decide how you vote, listen to the other council members, listen to the staff, but then you make up your own mind and you vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dahl. So we will go to item number 2, and Councilor Snell, will you please introduce this item?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is a motion to adopt the 2026 City Council meeting calendar. At issue, the calendar of the City Council meetings is adopted by a motion of the City Council annually. Adopting the meeting calendar for the year is more efficient and enables the mayor, council, and staff to schedule other events and travel in advance. The council will be able to amend the calendar by motion throughout the year if necessary. Would you like me to read the
Yes,
closures?
please go ahead.
Copy that. The following city council meetings that conflict with observed city holidays or other known events during the year are recommended for cancellation. The study session, January 19th, 2026, that's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Study session, February 16th, 2026, President's Day. Regular city council meeting, May 25th, 2026, Memorial Day. Study session, September 7th, 2026, Labor Day. Regular city council meeting, October 12th, 2026, Indigenous Peoples Day. And regular city council meeting, December 28th, 2026, Christmas holiday.
Thank you, Councilor Snell. This is a motion before the council. This is not quasi-judicial. I will open the public hearing, and Mr. Goff, do we have any staff reports?
Nothing beyond the issue statement. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Normally, we would go to questions from the public. We have nobody signed up to speak, so I will go to questions of council. Councilor Holteen.
Based on our current attendance for NLC, are we going to have a quorum for that meeting?
We're not. That item will come back separately at a future meeting for a council person.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions from council? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I move to adopt the 2026 City Council meeting calendar as presented.
I have a second, or a motion from Councilor Snell and a second from Councilor Martell. Do we have any comments on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council? Thank you.
8 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
All right. Moving on to item number 3. Counselor Holteen, will you please make the introduction?
Yes, thank you. I would like to introduce item number 3 at issue, wait. Yep, no, okay, I'm good. In 2015, the Colorado Legislature passed HB 15-1348, amending the urban renewal statute requiring the expansion of board membership, among other things, upon the adoption of a new plan area or a substantial modification to an existing plan. City Council amended the Wheat Ridge Code of Laws on May 12, 2025 to comply with HB 15-1348. This motion will ratify the mayor's recommendations to appoint 3 new members to the urban renewal. And I believe, is it 4 new members? There's
3 and then a counselor.
3, okay, 3 and, okay, yep, okay. So, like I said, 3 new members to the urban renewal.
Okay. This is a motion before the council. This is not quasi-judicial. I will open the public hearing. And Mr. Goff, do we have a presentation?
Just a little bit more background on this, maybe. Our board currently has 7 members, and this law that was passed requires us to add 3 new members from outside the city, 1 from the county, 1 from the school district, and 1 from the other taxing districts within the urban control areas. Those positions have been appointed by those agencies. The law also allows us to add 3 additional city-appointed members, and that's what this action is this evening.
Thank you. We would normally go to, again, questions from our public. We have nobody signed to speak. Do we have any questions from council? Councilor Larson.
Thank you, Mayor. Patrick, can you tell us the names of the 3 non-city appointees?
I knew somebody was going to ask that. I know the county, I'm sorry, I don't know all 3 names. I know the county is one of the commissioners.
I think it's Rachel
Zenzinger, Commissioner Zenzinger from the county. I don't know the other 2, I'm sorry. And just to clarify too, there are 4 appointments this evening. 3 are new. The 4th is the council appointment to the Urban Renewal Authority, which is one of the original 7. So there's 4 items, 4 names you're appointing this evening.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and I will recommend a motion. Hopefully somebody will ratify my motion. I recommend the appointment of Bud Starker to the at-large renewal Wheat Ridge seat, term to expire March 2nd, 2027. I recommend the appointment of Janice Hoppy to the at-large Wheat Ridge seat, term to expire March 2nd, 2028. I recommend the appointment of Kelly Blinn to the at-large renewal Wheat Ridge seat, term to expire March 2nd, 2029. I recommend the appointment of Dan Larson as City Council Liaison Member to the renewal Wheat Ridge with no term limit.
I move to ratify Mayor Stites' recommended appointments to the Renewal Wheat Ridge Board.
I have a motion by Councilor Holteen and a second by Councilor Ohm. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion, will the clerk please poll the council?
8 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
All right. Moving on to item number 4, Councilor Ohm, will you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 56-2025, a resolution of support for an application to the Colorado Department of Local Affairs Transit-Oriented Communities Infrastructure Grant Program for the Ives Affordable Housing Development. At issue, the state legislature created the Transit-Oriented Communities Infrastructure Grant Program as part of House Bill 24-1313 to fund eligible public infrastructure projects that support affordable housing for the state's certified transit-oriented communities. The city is pursuing early certification and plans to apply for the first round of grant funds to support Foothills Regional Housing and upsizing sanitary sewer lines to construct phase 2 of the Ives Affordable Development. The city will serve as a pass-through entity on behalf of Foothills Regional Housing. The grant will cover 75% of the total project costs, and FRH will provide the required 25% local match. A city council resolution of support is required to the TOCI application.
Thank you, Councilor Ohm. This is a resolution before the council. It is not quasi-judicial. I will open the public hearing. And Mr. Goff, do we have a presentation?
Yeah, Lauren Michelecker, Community Development Director, will add a little bit more.
Thank you. Just a little bit more context. Over the past few years, we have talked to you about several different state laws affecting local housing and zoning policies. And fortunately, compliance with some of those laws has made the city eligible to apply for certain funding sources, and that's the case here. We are allowed to submit multiple applications. We had a pre-application meeting with DOLA about a month ago on both applications. So before you tonight is a resolution for 2 separate projects. With your support, we intend to submit those applications later this week, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about either proposal.
Thank you. Again, we would normally go to questions from the public. We have nobody signed up to speak tonight, so we go to questions of council. Councilor Martell.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm glad you mentioned that you talked about being able to submit multiple applications. Will submitting multiple at the same time, around the same time, have any impact from one to the other? Like, would getting one prevent us from having as much hope of getting the second one?
What DOLA's explained to us is that it wouldn't. We were not put in a position where we needed to prioritize one or the other. The reason that we submit both is because in this funding round, the construction schedules for both projects really aligns with this early funding round. If we waited for a future funding round, I don't think the timing of those funds would work for those construction schedules. And we're really on the early end of becoming certified through the TOC program, so we don't anticipate that this round will be quite as competitive as the future ones as other communities become certified in the future.
Great, thank you.
Any other, Councilor Quinn?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Lauren, can you explain how that works? It says we're a pass-through, so we like front the money and then Foothills pays us back?
That could be the situation,
Oh.
yes. So if we are awarded the funds, we'll be back in front of council for budget supplemental where the expense and the revenues would offset.
Gotcha. We're not going to Wadsworth, are we?
No, it's a segment on 48th Avenue, east of Wadsworth for the sewer, but any housing along Wadsworth would eventually get into that pipe because of the sanitation basin.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion. Councilor Ohm?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Resolution 56-2025, a resolution of support for an application to the Colorado Department of Local Affairs Transit-Oriented Communities Infrastructure Grant Program for the Ives Affordable Housing Development.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilor Ohm and a second by Councilor Snell. Do we have discussion on the motion? Councilor Holteen?
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge, thank you to the city for being able to be a good partner with Foothills Regional Housing. I think we continue to just really be strong partners, and that is city staff and this council who's supporting that. And then as the member of the legislative committee, I also just want to recognize that when the state actually funds us to do meaningful work on these things, it makes a difference. So I just want to recognize state legislation that actually pays us to overcome some of the real barriers to affordability that our developer partners run into actually enables us to build affordable housing. So just kudos to both aspects of this.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilor Wood?
I just want to commend the Community Development Department for being on top of the new legislation and getting in on the ground floor and getting in early while other cities are trying to find their way. So I think it's a great job.
Any other comments? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
8 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 5. Councilor Larson, will you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Mayor. This is Resolution 57-2025, a resolution of support for an application to the Colorado Department of Local Affairs Transit-Oriented Communities Infrastructure Grant Program for the Ridge Road Master Plan redevelopment. At issue tonight, the state legislature created the Transit-Oriented Communities Infrastructure Grant Program as part of House Bill 24-1313 to fund eligible public infrastructure projects that support affordable housing for state-certified transit-oriented communities. The city is pursuing early certification and plans to apply for the first round of grant funds to support Foothills Regional Housing in providing major infrastructure improvements to 3 main roadways as part of the Ridge Road Master Plan development. The city will serve as the pass-through entity on behalf of Foothills Regional Housing. The grant would cover 75% of the total cost, with Foothills Regional Housing providing the required 25% local match. A city council resolution of support is required for the TOCI application.
Thank you, Councilor Larson. This is a resolution for the council. This is not quasi-judicial. I will open the public hearing. Mr. Goff, do we have anything else on this?
This is duplicate of the last item. It's just for a different project, Ridge Road project instead of Ives. So if you have any questions, we're here to answer.
Again, we would go to the public for a question and comment on this. Nobody's signed up, so we'll go to questions of council. No further questions. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion. Councilor Larson.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Resolution 57-2025, a resolution of support for an application to the Colorado Department of Local Affairs Transit-Oriented Communities Infrastructure Grant Program for the Ridge Road Master Plan redevelopment.
We have a motion from Councilor Larson and a second by Councilor Ohm. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
8 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
All right. Item number 6, Councilor Okada, will you introduce this item?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to introduce Resolution 58-2025, a resolution amending the 2025 Capital Improvement Program budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $1.2 million for acquisition of property at 4593 Parfit Street for expansion and consolidation of the Public Works and Parks operation facilities. At issue, during the August 25th, 2025 City Council meeting, City Council approved the loan agreement with the Renewal Wheat Ridge in the amount of $1.2 million for acquisition of property at 4593 Parfit Street for expansion and consolidation of the Public Works and Parks operations facilities. However, at that time, the Capital Improvement Program budget was not amended to accept and expend the loan. This budget supplemental will make it possible for those actions to take place.
Thank you, Councilor Okada. This is a resolution for the council. It's not quasi-judicial. I will open the public hearing. And Mr. Goff, do we have a presentation?
Yeah, just a simple cleanup here. As Mr. Okada read into the record, this property has already been purchased. And someday we will come back with some expansion plans. But as the action item mentioned, we did not amend the budget so we could actually spend it, and our auditors won't write us up for not doing proper accounting. So this is just a cleanup to amend the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Goff. We would normally, again, go to public comment. We have nobody signed up to speak, so we'll go to questions from council. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. That was better. And Councilor Okada, can I ask for a motion, please?
I move to approve Resolution 58-2025, a resolution amending the 2025 Capital Improvement Program budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $1.2 million for acquisition of property at 4593 Parfit Street for expansion and consolidation of the Public Works and Parks operations facilities.
I have a motion by Councilor Okada and a second by Councilor Hulteen. Do we have discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk please poll the council?
8 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
Excellent. We will go back here to our next item on the agenda, City Manager's Matters.
Thank you, Mayor. Our Deputy City Clerk has a quick item for council this evening. Honorina?
Thank you, Mr. Goff. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I am respectfully, it is on. Yeah. Oh, can you hear me?
Better.
Okay, thank you. I really have to hold it. Thank you. I am respectfully requesting a small procedural change to support reliable public participation in our Zoom public comment process. Currently, the online sign up to virtually attend and participate in meetings closes at 6 p.m. and the meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. That leaves only 30 minutes to extract a Zoom list, verify speakers, format it, and deliver it to the mayor. In that short window, any technical issue, such as Zoom delays, export problems, connectivity, or printer trouble, can delay the start of the meeting or compromise accuracy. I am respectfully asking council to consider moving the sign-up deadline to 5 p.m. This would create a 90-minute buffer, giving staff time to troubleshoot, verify, and ensure the mayor has a complete list before the meeting begins. This change does not restrict access in any way. Sign-up opens when the agenda is posted on the city's website and Wheat Ridge Speaks on the Thursday before the meeting. With the agenda posted before noon on Thursday, citizens have more than 100 hours, just over 4 full days, to sign up before the Monday 5 p.m. deadline. Moving the deadline simply ensures staff the time they need to prepare, while citizens still have ample time to participate. Many Colorado municipalities set deadlines hours in advance to ensure smooth operations. So, for example, Edgewater and Commerce City's cutoff is noontime. Aurora's is 1 p.m. and Denver's is 3 p.m. Therefore, I believe a 1-hour buffer is a modest adjustment that keeps Wheat Ridge in line with common practice while reducing operational risk. For these reasons, I respectfully request council's support for moving the Zoom public comment sign-up deadline to 5 p.m. so staff can reliably prepare and meetings can begin on time with an accurate list of speakers. And I thank you for consideration.
Thank you, Deputy City Clerk.
Thank you.
Would we take a motion on that, or are we looking for a consensus on that?
Just a consensus would be fine.
Do we have a consensus to move that deadline to 5 p.m.? We do.
Terrific.
Oh, do we have we have some questions or comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I'm kind of shocked that it was 6 o'clock. I know that when I try to do some type of Zoom meeting, there's always issues. And if you're comfortable with 5, I'm fine with it. But I would have no issue if you want to bump it to 3 o'clock or 12, something.
Thank you.
To give you a little more time. I feel like 5 is still really kind of cutting it close. And
Well,
so,
that is up to council.
okay,
Thank you for
that's
that.
just my
Appreciate it.
opinion. I feel like 5's still pretty close. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on that? Okay. Do we have a consensus for, take your time, Council. Consensus for 3 p.m. on the Monday before? Nope, more just, okay.
I'd like us to move forward with trying 5, and if that's not enough time, I just think about people who might have the intention to come in person and for some reason realize that they're not going to be able to make it, and I'd like to give them the opportunity to opt into Zoom. And sometimes, like for people like me, that might become obvious at 4:30. So if you think 5 gives you the time to do that, then I'd prefer we start with that. And if that's not working, please bring it back to us. And because at the end of the day, it's got to work. So if it's not working, then I would be open to trying earlier. But I know that we're trying to find the balance of access to not. So but yeah, again, I would absolutely support going earlier if that time frame. But if that's the time frame you proposed coming in, then I would be open to supporting that.
Thank you. I
We can make
appreciate your
5 work.
support.
Yeah.
Whatever the last consensus was what'll stick, and now I'm a little, which one was the last one? You might,
Ask for one more
Mr. Mayor, you
consensus
might
then.
want to confirm
Okay, Can we
that.
ask for consensus for, Councilor Larson, do you have it?
Yeah, I agree with Councilmember Hulteen. I think this is a baby step, and if it proves to be something that we need to address down the road, then we can do that. But for now, I would support 5 o'clock.
Let's ask for consensus then for 5 p.m. on Mondays. We have a consensus for
thank
5
you.
p.m. Okay. Mr. Goff, anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dahl, City Attorney's Matters.
Welcome to the new council members and happy holidays to everyone. That's all. Thanks.
All right, thank you. We will go to elected officials matters, and we will start with our brand new counselor, Councilor Wood.
Well, I'll just start with a thank you. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to city staff. This is an incredible honor. Listening to you speak tonight, I was absolutely overwhelmed. And I'm really looking forward to working with you all. I'm really looking forward to serving the city. Again, it's an incredible honor, and thank you very much.
Thank you. We will go Councilor Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be the first one to say what a great time it was at the tree lighting. And it was a great time. It shows me that the vision that somebody had to build that park is just amazing, and how it works. And a small plug for for Kent Kisselman. He was funny when because I watched Christmas Vacation a little bit last night, and when Corey when the mayor threw the switch to turn the lights on, I heard Kent go, "The little lights aren't twinkling, Corey," and I about fell off the stage laughing. It's really great, and had a great time, and really appreciate the effort that went into making that event.
Thank you. Councilor Martell.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two quick things. In addition to the holiday lighting on Saturday, I want to thank everyone who came out for Festival of Trees that ended with the award ceremony just before the tree lighting. And we raised at least $1,000 for Foothills Animal Shelter. We're going to have the final count tomorrow or Wednesday. We have a lockbox full of cash that they have to unlock and count for us, so then we'll have the final number. But we had over 17 businesses sponsor trees, and also some businesses and community partners sponsor the event. So it was just so much fun to be involved in. I also want to recognize Panorama Park Sustainable Neighborhoods had a couple years ago, we planted a native plant demonstration garden at Panorama Park. And just this last week, that demonstration garden was awarded a gold certified native plant garden by the Colorado Native Plant Society. So kudos to the Panorama Park Sustainable Neighborhood, which actually encompasses all of District 1. So we're super excited that they received that award. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Snell.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to ask Councilor Martell if she could share the winners of the Festival of Trees, because I didn't hear them. Thank you.
I would be happy to. Thank you, Councilor Snell. We had 3 awards. The first was for the business who sponsored the tree that raised the most money in the silent auction, and that was the new, I hope I say it right, the meat shop on 38th, and they raised $160 on their tree. And then the second award was the Cha-Ching Champion, and that was for I'm sorry, I reversed those. The Cha-Ching Champion went to the new butcher shop, the meat shop on 38th, for the auction. And then we also had a People's Choice Award, and everyone who visited had 2 free tokens to vote on their favorite tree. And then people could buy additional tickets. And Salon Bellamisia, across the street from the Greens, won the People's Choice with 243 votes. And they also they purchased their own tree. So they came in with a cart and got it from the Wheat Ridge Center for Music and Arts and walked it down 38th Avenue to their location. So anybody out and about on Sunday morning probably saw a really sparkly blue Christmas tree walking down our main street. And then the third award was for the school who decorated a tree, and that went to Stevens Elementary School. Thank you, Councilor Snell.
Thank you. That's exciting, and I really loved seeing the trees. That was a great. It's cool to be able to go and see those all week. So thank you, and thanks to all the volunteers and everyone who helped out with that. I think it was a huge success. I will talk about our holiday celebration, but first I want to go back in time a little bit more to last week when we had our ribbon cutting for new tennis and basketball courts at Panorama Park. We are so lucky to have those incredible courts, and I am happy to have been there, but just such a great turnout. Thanks to everyone who came out. Thanks to Parks and Rec for all of the hard work and for those amazing courts. And I hope that folks have been utilizing them. And right after we did the ribbon cutting, it snowed, but I know that there were people showing up to play tennis as we were leaving the ribbon cutting. So super, super excited about that. And on to Saturday, our holiday celebration. Thank you again to Parks and Rec and everyone. An amazing event. I also want to give special kudos to Councilor Okada for sticking it out for the entire time. The moment the event opened, he was there, and he was there until the very end. I wish I'd known I would have brought you a jacket. But kudos to you.
Thank you very much.
It was a great time, very festive weather. Super excited to have that, and one more reason why the green is just an amazing new park for us. Next, the last thing I want to talk about is this Wednesday, day after tomorrow, Councilor Martell and I are holding a holiday meet and greet for District 1 at the Wheat Ridge Center for Music and Arts. We're having, it's from 6 to 8. We're having a clothing drive, a food drive. So if anyone can bring any of those items, we will get those to organizations that are distributing those items. There will also be a soup dinner that will be for anyone who shows up. And it's just a time for folks to come and meet with us, get to know Kathleen. She's our newer counselor. And then just to kind of get on board with staying in touch with District 1, because for next year we've got some good fun plans for staying in touch. So those are my 3 things, and welcome, Counselor Wood. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Snell. Let's go, Councilor Okada.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing that I wanted to really dive into a little bit during my moment here is the conversations and engagements that I've been able to that I've been lucky to have over the past week in regards to the appointment were very diverse. They were very deep. And I just wanted to say to everybody that I got a chance to talk to, thank you so much for the chance to go into those conversations. Many of them from 4, but many from beyond 4. So thank you very much. And I want to say congratulations, Susan. I'm happy to have you on the board here, or in the council here. But I also want to acknowledge, maybe too late, but I want to acknowledge the other applicants who put their name in the hat. 5 applicants for 1 vacancy is quite a lot, and a lot of talent and a lot of specialty in that space too. So very happy with the engagement that we had tonight, and that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Larson.
Thank you, Mayor. And I was among the crowds, and it really was a tremendous crowd at the tree lighting ceremony. My wife and I did have an opportunity to do some shopping along 38th. We don't get down there enough. I was cold, so next year I'm going to layer up. The other thing is that I would like to just really quickly, one more sort of honor of former Mayor Bud Starker. The Chamber of Commerce had a lunch last week at the rec center, and we got an opportunity to hear the mayor kind of review the 8 years, and prior to that, his years on council, and some of the things that were the tremendous accomplishments that and really big things that have happened in Wheat Ridge over the past 10 or so years. And it was one more opportunity to tell the mayor that we really respect him, and that we really appreciate his years of service. It was a really nice send-off. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Ulm.
Thank you, Mayor. First thing I want to say is a big thank you to all the staff for the Christmas tree lighting. We're really lucky to have a really beautiful park right in the city. And one idea that I hope might happen someday is some type of winter market at the green. I think there's a lot of potential to have something like that. People love coming out. I'd be really curious to see, I thought there was a really good turnout. I suspect that some people, because of patterns, it's been under construction, that I'm hoping there's going to be a lot more next year. And I'm curious to see if we have any stats or ideas of how did that help with the businesses? Did the businesses feel a little bit of an uptick? I know that, when I walked by Little Brazil, they seem to be pretty busy. And so I'm hoping that this really, truly is a catalyst, and just really want to see that park, vibrant and busy a lot. I think that's really good for everybody. I know during the daytime when I walk by it, the kids absolutely love the playgrounds. So there's a lot of energy out there, and to see the fire pit, that was really nice. I don't think I got to spend enough time with that fire pit the other night, but it's big enough. There's a lot of space for people to gather around that, and I'm really happy that we had all of our council out there, and I think that really means a lot, and looking forward to Councilmember Wood next year being out there joining us. It's really, I think that's really special, really important. Love the stage, and Councilmember Quinn, you just make me crack up with those stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ohm. Councilor Hulteen.
Well, I was hoping by going last of the council members that you guys would cover my things, but I actually have a little list tonight. So starting with, of course, congratulations to Councilmember Wood. It's an honor to be serving alongside you the next 2 years. Okay, so my handful of things. One is, am I correct that we have some CFIs opening this week?
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have talked about that. We
Yeah.
do. Tomorrow, actually, I believe, tomorrow morning. I think it starts at 6 a.m. They're going to be switching.
At the 38th and Wadsworth.
38th, and then in a week, 16th, 44th and Watts, CFI will open as well. Our police department will be out there helping direct traffic, just in case people go the wrong way. So signage is up, though, so fingers crossed. Yes.
Yeah, so I would say the opening of the green and the opening of the CFIs are some of the bigger things that are happening in our community this year. So I have driven CFIs. They are a little perplexing the first time, but safe and well signed and actually fairly intuitive when you do them. So I am going to be doing a pop quiz next week to see who has driven the CFI. I have been telling constituents if for the last several years you have been navigating nearly weekly traffic pattern changes, you will have no problem doing a one-time CFI orientation. So, but do be prepared. I'm sure we will be hearing from neighbors. You know, I have some neighbors that are literally, they want to take chairs out and watch people do it before they do it. So another thing, just congratulations to the recruits. I love that that's something that comes to us, so we get to know them, and we continue to recruit high quality people to serve our city through the police department. We had a big snow this week. I don't think any of us were expecting as much snow as came down. And something that I bring up year over year is I recognize that the shoveling is a challenge with the plowing. But I think the one thing that is not acceptable to me is when we have business owners who have their driveways, their parking lots plowed, and they plow the snow into the public right of way, creating large mounds of snow that then don't melt. And so I would just ask the city to do some proactive enforcement. Driving down 44th, I saw about 6 businesses that actually the plowers had plowed into the sidewalk and town center. They plowed their snow into the right of way, both in the street and the sidewalk. So that to me is not an acceptable practice. And I would hope that we would follow up when we see that in the city. I'll be brief. I attended the CML policy committee last week, and CML is looking at some street racing enforcement, and I offered up our model legislation here in the city as a resource for our legislators as they move forward. Representative Duran is looking to be one of the bill sponsors for that. And then lastly, so we have been grappling with this car wash for a while, and District 2 has not, we've had our fair share of sound issues. And in talking to Councilor Ohm, we really feel like within our special use permit, there are a couple of businesses that are more susceptible to being problematic from noise. And so Councilmember Ohm and I would like to get consensus to have a study session to look at special use permit businesses that might be particularly problematic around noise and sound issues for us to reevaluate them for eligibility for special use permit. So is that something that we could have support to revisit as a council?
Seeing plenty of hands, so we can get that on a future study session.
Okay, and then to go alongside that, as I mentioned earlier, we have a handful of types of businesses in our city that operate 24/7 without a person on site, including car washes. So I would also like, and we can kind of bundle these, but to look at restricting businesses that don't have on-site operators to not be operating outside of, they have to limit their operation between certain business hours. And I think it's a little trickier than we might think. I think it's going to take some looking at, because that could include things like ATMs. There's a whole host of things, but we do have a handful of businesses that create noise and light and different type of nuisances when they are operating 24/7 and actually don't have a responsible person on site during that time. So could we include a study session on that topic as well?
Looks like we have consensus to move that forward as well.
Okay, thank you for my little list of things tonight. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, guess how many more meetings we have this month? Yep. That was me and Counselor Ohms.
Okay. I won't get into the semantics of that, but I want to thank all 5 candidates who applied for the District 3 opening. Well, I left. But we had very qualified candidates and obviously a lot of public interest in this. So I want to encourage all counselors and our new counselor, Counselor Wood, to make sure that you're listening to all of your constituents, no matter who they are, and giving them as much respect as you would give anybody else, and making sure that they have an opportunity to at least make their case and have their say. How you vote is how you vote, and you may or may not agree with that as a citizen, but that's the right of the elected counselors to make sure that they're making the best decisions because they're the ones elected to be here. I also want to thank our brand new police recruits. Did a phenomenal job speaking tonight as always. This is always one of my favorite nights of the year, getting to meet our recruits and welcome them to Wheat Ridge. It's always fantastic. So Chief, thank you for making this a tradition that we get to do twice a year. Is that twice a year? It's really cool. And then Wheat Ridge 102 graduation tonight. We sat through a couple really great presentations last week, youth engagement and mediation between neighbors, which again, as a counselor, you guys that are new will get to love maybe that program, because I think it's one way that we solve that without constantly interrupting the police's time and putting them in a position where they can't be successful. So Wheat Ridge 102 did a fantastic job, and I know we have some Wheat Ridge 101 and 102 graduates up here as well. So fantastic job to them and all their mentors and Local Works and Marianne's not here anymore, but Marianne Schilling for putting that program together, did a phenomenal job. Last week, I had the opportunity to attend a ribbon cutting at PNC Bank, which is just off of 38th and Kipling, brand new financial institution that's going to kind of anchor part of that corridor as we look to invest a ton of money into that 38th corridor going west. So we're excited to have PNC Bank here, and we got to meet those of us over there. Councilor Larson and I got a great picture with the ballerina from the Nutcracker, which is pretty cool. The panorama and tennis and basketball courts, Parks and Rec did a phenomenal job. I believe Architectura did the design on that. They did a fantastic job. And I'm excited to see how that helps that community. Panorama is a beautiful park as it is, and a great gathering spot for people for District 1 and all over the city. Last week, I was with Councilor Larson at the Chamber Lunch honoring Mayor Starker. Mayor Starker's been a great mentor to me over the last couple of months and did a phenomenal job through his years on council and as mayor. So it was great to get an opportunity to get up and speak a little bit about him, and hopefully I think got him a little frazzled there for a minute there. But he did a great job. And then he also joined me at the Metro Mayor's holiday celebration last week. And I appreciate him for introducing me to several of the mayors around the state that I haven't met yet, and some of the other people that are kind of big, some of our representatives and stuff like that. So I definitely appreciate him doing that as well. And we're excited to honor him tomorrow at the WRBA lunch, if you're available to do that. That's tomorrow, I believe, starting at 11 o'clock. The Wheat Ridge tree lighting was awesome. Parks and Rec, you guys did an amazing job. City Manager Goff and I were kind of joking this morning that it was kind of like being at one of the Hallmark movies. So you made the big city girl fall in love with the farmer and dump her banker boyfriend. So we'll keep working on that. But I think that second to none, the way our Parks and Rec department put that together. So thank you to Benny and Dominic and everybody else who was involved in putting that together. This Saturday, we have my first Coffee with the Mayor official. Will be at Stylus and Crate at 9 a.m. So everybody's invited to join us for that. As usual, Oh, that's right. Tomorrow night is Barstool Bingo. So Local Works is putting on their big Colorado Gives fundraiser tomorrow night. That is at Esther's, I believe. Esther's tomorrow night. What time does that start? Does anybody remember? 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock. Make sure you get there early, get your bingo cards, and watch some chickens online. It'll be a lot of fun. Oh, that's right. And tomorrow is Colorado Gives Day. So if you have a favorite Colorado charity, not including Local Works, but definitely give to Local Works. But I'm sure they're all looking for extra donations tomorrow. So get out, and if you can find it and buy it in Wheat Ridge. We have no other business before the council this evening. This is our last meeting of the year. And next week we have our last study session for the year. So we will see you all next Monday at 6:30. And with nothing else, we are adjourned.